All right, let's talk about a really big shift happening in AI right now. Meta has just pulled the curtain back on a new generation of artificial intelligence. And this one, well, it's different. We're talking about AI that doesn't just see pixels anymore. It's starting to understand concepts and can even build our world in 3D. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Just look at this, it says it all. On the left, you've got your older AI, right? It looks at the image and says, umbrella. Simple enough. But now, look at the right. The new model, SAM3, sees the striped red umbrella. You see that difference? That little jump from a basic label to a rich description, that is the whole game changer here. It's about going way beyond simple tags to a much, much deeper understanding.
And this didn't just pop up out of nowhere, but the speed, man, the speed is just wild. Take a look at this timeline. The whole project, called Segment Anything, or SAM for short, started with just basic image segmentation back in 2023. A year later, it's tracking video. And now it's tackling these massive ideas like understanding concepts in geometry. The pace is absolutely incredible.
So that's really the heart of what we're breaking down today. It's this fundamental shift in AI vision. We're moving past a world that's just about pixels and simple labels and into a world where AI understands ideas, how things relate to each other, and even their physical shape.
So what Meta did here, which is pretty smart, is they released two models that work together. Think of it like a team. You've got SAM3, which is kind of like the brains of the operation. Its whole job is to understand the what, the concepts. Then you have SAM3D, and that's the eyes. It's all about figuring out the 3D shape and how something actually exists in the real world. Okay, first up, let's talk about SAM3. This is the model that's all about connecting the dots, linking words and big ideas to the actual stuff it's seeing in an image. It really is like a concept whisperer.
And how did it get so smart? Well, this is where it gets crazy. The secret sauce, the magic behind this whole thing is a massive data engine that Meta built. And get this, it automatically labeled over 4 million unique concepts. That number is just staggering. That's the foundation, the giant vocabulary that this AI learned from.
Okay, so all that data leads to this core breakthrough. It's got a technical name, Promptable Concept Segmentation, or PCS. But what does that actually mean? Well, it means you can go way beyond just asking it to find a dog. You can give it a whole idea, like find me every person walking a dog, and it will go through and pick out and isolate every single example of that concept.
This table really lays it all out. It's a night and day difference. See, the first version of SAM could only really handle simple clicks and boxes. But SAM3, it can understand complex sentences you type out, and it can even learn from a picture you give it. It's just so much more flexible, so much more powerful.
But here's the kicker. It's not just smarter, it's also ridiculously fast. We're talking twice the accuracy of what came before. It can chew through a really complex image with over 100 objects in just 30 milliseconds. That's faster than you can blink. And it can track a bunch of things in a video pretty much in real time. This isn't a lab experiment. This is fast enough to be used out in the real world.
And this is where the whole thing gets really interesting. See, SAM3 isn't meant to be a solo act. It's designed to be the super precise eyes for those big AI brains we hear so much about, the Multimodal Large Language Models, or MLLMs. When you put them together, you get a whole new level of thinking. The language model, the brain, can come up with a really complex request, something with logic in it. For instance, it could ask SAM3, hey, find me all the people who are sitting down, but only if they are not holding a gift box. And then SAM3, the eyes, just goes and does it, scans the image and finds exactly that.
All right, so that's the brains of the operation. Now let's switch gears and talk about the other half of this amazing release, SAM3D. If SAM3 was all about ideas, SAM3D is all about space, about taking flat 2D pixels and giving them real-world depth.
Honestly, the way this works, it feels like straight-up magic. You feed it one single flat photo, just a regular 2D picture, and from that one image, it builds a complete 3D model. It figures out what the back looks like, what the sides look like, all the parts it can't even see, and just builds the whole thing.
Now, when it comes to recreating people in 3D, Meta built a special tool for that called the Momentum Human Rig, or MHR. And its big idea, its key innovation, sounds really simple, but trust me, it's a huge deal. It decouples the internal skeleton from the outside shape of the body.
So, why does that even matter? Well, think about the old way of doing it. The skeleton and the skin were basically glued together. So if you had someone in a tricky pose, like a weird yoga position or something, the whole model would just
break. It would look all distorted and wrong. By separating them, MHR lets the skeleton move naturally on the inside, which means the outside shape looks way more realistic and accurate, no matter the pose.
And look, this isn't just some theory stuck in a research lab. This stuff is already out there, being used, and it's already changing how we interact with everything, both digital and physical.
A perfect example, and you might have even seen this, is on Facebook Marketplace. You know that view in room feature? That's SAM 3D. It takes a simple photo of a couch or a table someone's selling, turns it into a 3D model, and lets you virtually pop it into your own living room to see if it fits. Super useful. And it's not just a gimmick, it works incredibly well. They did tests where they showed people 3D models from SAM 3D and from other methods and asked which one looked more real. The results? It wasn't even close. People preferred the SAM 3D models by a 5-to-1 margin. That's a blowout.
So when you step back, the potential here is just massive. For things like augmented and virtual reality, this makes creating all the 3D stuff you need way, way easier. For robotics, it gives them the kind of real-time understanding they need to move around in our messy world. You could even use it in sports medicine to do these super detailed breakdowns of an athlete's form and movement.
Okay, so let's zoom out. When you put all of this together, what does it actually mean? What does this massive leap forward tell us about the future of AI and how it's going to see our world?
You know, it really boils down to two fundamental breakthroughs. First, with SAM 3, AI finally gets what we call conceptual grounding. It can actually understand the language we use to describe the visual world. And second, with SAM 3D, it gets geometric fidelity. It can understand the actual physical shape of our world, all from a single, flat picture.
Putting these two things together? This is a really pivotal moment. AI is shifting from just being a passive camera that labels things to being an active interpreter of our reality. And that leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. If an AI can now understand and literally rebuild our world from just a single glance, what on earth is it going to see next?